Welcome, everyone, as we are co-sponsored by the Rezepkowitz family in honor of their parents, co-sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Eddie Chazano for Shalema, for Shoshana Bas Panina, and Simone Bas Rachel. We are co-sponsored by Binyamin Rivlin, Nishmas Yitzhak Ben Avram Yehuda Alevi, co-sponsored by Shelley Zeitlin for the benefit of his children, Eli, Orit, and Ora. By Berich Lowasser for my continued refuah shalema, Moshe Meir ben Esther Fradel, with Akos HaTov to the Shir, and by Shalom Fogel, Le'ilui Nishmas, Yaakov Zeb ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tzivya Miriam Bas Gad, and Yosef ben Sion ben Yaakov Zev, that their neshama should have a great aliyah.
Otherwise, can we learn a refuah shalema for Nosson Feitel ben Yehudis?
Nosson Feitel ben Yehudis should have a refuah shalema b'seich shar chela Yisrael, and of course we also learn for refuah shalema for Pinchas Menachem as well. It should continue to have refuah shalema b'seich shar chela Yisrael. Let's see. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh b'dvaro. It's sweet when we could finish Marav on time, so we could get the shir moving at more of a right time. Yeah. Hello. No, the Chumash shir is Wednesday night at 8:45. No, this is my private number. You want to hear it, go to Torah anytime or Kol HaLashon. Yeah, that works on the computer. If you want to go to the computer, to zoomdaf.com. Yes, I'm in the middle of shir now. Be well. Okay, Gedalia has arrived. It's a good thing we didn't rely on you for Marav.
You could have relied on me for Marav.
What do you mean?
I told Mark.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
If you need me, I'm here in 150 seconds.
Okay. Well, then I apologize. We Baruch Hashem, we had a nice minyan. It's hot, yeah. And then people see it and they say, "What's his problem?" You know. Last night we didn't have a minyan. It's the first time I think since we started that we didn't have a minyan. Anyway, okay, let's welcome in Jack Warman and Yaakov Warman, Irving Fishbaum's. Irving Fishbaum. What did I just do? Did I just click off? Irving Fishbaum, Saba, Ruven Pollack, Marshall Castle, Mel Zachter, Yitzi Fuchs, Menachem Umansky, Dr. Guy, Yisrael Fisher, Shimon Klein, Eddie Chazan, Shalom Fogel, Mark Frank. Mark, you were very missed last night. You were the 40th Zoomer last night. Rabbi Kranz, but don't do it again. Dr. Black, Berish Gesseman, Nachman Chaplin, Moshe Lehman, Ilya Shutman, Yeshua Shmuel Eisenberg, Avram Rezepkowitz, Yitzi Muller, Reb Kaniel. And here in Shul, we have the pleasure of having Gedalia Engel and Chaim Kramer, Shlomo Yehuda and Avram Schenkman and Ruben Shannon. It's great to have all of you joining us, and let's welcome in Barry Cement also. We are holding, and if you follow in the art scroll, you're going to need to have the second volume, or you're going to get stuck with Ahmed Bays. You won't have it. We are holding on the very, very top of Daf Mem Beis Amud Aleph, talking about Kiddush Levana. This is a very, very interesting Gemara of Kiddush Levana. we said that one opinion is you could say Kiddush Levana until the 7th day, and one is until the 16th day. V'travayu Reb Yochanan Svirulahu, both of them hold that you could say it until the pigima, until what it is missing is filled. But Hala Mahave Ki Yisra, one is that it should be like the bow is filled. In other words, that the crescent is filled. In other words, it's like a semicircle, which is already on the 7th day. Hala Mahave Ki Nafya, one is if it says a sieve, if it says a full ball in the sky, which would be after 15 days. Amalei Rav Achim Adifti the Ravina. So Rav Achim Adifti said to Ravina, but even so, after 7 days, the one who says that we don't say it after 7 days, but why can't you say V'livra chatoy v'ameitiv? Why don't you say he was good and does good? I mean, the moon illuminates the night, especially in those days where they didn't have any street lamps, any traffic lights, any lampposts. It was a very big thing. Amalei. So the Gemara says, "Atu ki chaser mi mevarchinon dayan ha'emes." Do we say the true judge as something is bad when the moon is lacking and it's dark outside? Do we say blessed is the true judge like we say when there's a calamity, the livra chatoy v'ameitiv, that he's good and he does good when the moon is full? So the Gemara says, well, why don't we make both those brachas? So the Gemara says, we make these brachas on things that are not regular, on things that are not normal. Since this is its normal cycle, we don't say Atay V'Ameitiv and Baruch Dayan Emes. We only say it on, wow, look at this. Michael Akhtar has come in with our 30th Zoomer, just getting started over here. Now this is a very interesting thing. Whoever benches the new moon in its proper time, it's as if he's greeting the Shechina. Now, the Mefarshim explained this in different ways. The Mefarshim explained this as that when one makes the bracha on the moon, one is remembering Maaseh Bereishis, and it says that a person that remembers Maaseh Bereishis and is remembering the Shechina is as if he's being mekabel the Pnei HaShechina. That's the way the Meiri learns. The Artzko brings down from the Maharsha. The Maharsha says that nowadays, when we don't have the Beis Hamikdash anymore, we don't have the Shechina in our midst. However, at the time when we say Kiddush Levana, we say that in the bracha, we say that the Rebbeinu Shalom is destined to renew us like he renews the moon, and therefore, since we are, Maharsha says, since we are thinking about that, it's like we're experiencing the Shechina here in Galus. It's interesting that people try to do Kiddush Levana Matzah Shabbos. The reason why we try to do Kiddush Levana Matzah Shabbos is because we are wearing our Shabbos Tikka Begadim. And when you go to be Mekabel the Pnei HaShechina, you should wear your Shabbos Tikka Begadim. I have the pleasure over here that if we call Kiddush Levana in a weeknight, since it's in my house, I could run to my closet, swap my Shabbos Tikka kapota, and put on my Shabbos Tikka hat. And you get this. The truth of the matter is if somebody is aware that the night is clear and the shul is going to be Mekadosh Levana, they should put on a Shabbos Tikka jacket, a Shabbos Tikka hat. That's the right way to do it. Now, says the Gemara, how do we know? This is not merely a dictum without proof. we have a remes from the pasuk. By the way, this week's parsha, it says this month. This is my God, and I will glorify Him. So the connection of zeh shows that just like Zekei Vanveyu is referring to the Shechina, so also when we accept the new moon, it's tantamount to being mekabel l'pnei Shechina. Tana b'rei Rabbi Yishmael, ilmali lo yizachu Yisrael el lahakbel pnei avim sheb'shamayim kol chodesh v'chodesh. If a person only merits to greet the Shechina every month by Kiddush Levana, dayan, it would be enough. That merit alone would be enough. That a person, that Rashi says, it would be enough to give hoidah to Hashem. It would be enough to give thanks to Hashem for our lot in life. It's interesting that people have gone to great lengths to be mekabel pnei Shechina. They have gone to great lengths. When there wasn't a Levana, people have traveled in order to go somewhere else where there was a Levana. People really don't want to miss. It says that a first person who is Mekadosh Levana has a haftacha that he won't have a misa meshuna, an unusual death that month. So, being mekabel the pnei Shechina is a very big thing. Person, a chayla that's in the hospital, if they could be mekabel pnei Shechina, and do Kiddush Levana, it's a very big thing.
How come we don't feel this?
Well, people don't feel the Shechina when they were davening Shemona Esrei either.
Okay, so
The rebel once went up with a helicopter.
The answer is that it's we learn this, it's our job. People put on tefillin. Tefillin has enormous kedusha, but people don't feel it. It's our job to manufacture the feeling. That's our job.
What do we manufacture? What feeling? That he's here, that he's with us, and what feeling?
Awareness of Hashem. Awareness of Hashem. Rav Miller's main purpose in life. Awareness of Hashem. As we welcome in Shelley, who is joining us, and we are holding, since we are holding about 12 lines from the top of Mem Beis Amud Aleph. Mem Beis is a big daf, by the way, but Dibarta Bam is the mitzvah d'oraisa of learning Torah. That's what the Ran says in Masechus Nedarim in the first parak. We know that Bam is an acronym for the first word of Torah Shebiksav, Bereshis, and the first word of Torah Shebal Peh, Me'emosai. That's the acronym of the Dibarta Bam. Should be busy with Torah Shebiksav and Torah Shebal Peh. So Amar Abaya.
The daf, Laura.
Huh?
What do you do?
That's why I'm saying it. That's why I'm saying it, Barry. I know why Barry interrupted me, because he said there's another reason why we say bum, because Barry is here. But anyway, but anyway, Shelley knew that already. Stephen Holtzman is joining us, and says the Gemara, Amar Abaya, since the saying of Kiddush Levana is like Kabbalas Pnei Shechina, Hilkach, therefore, Nemrinu Mu'umid, it should be said standing. You don't sit when you say Kiddush Levana. And by the way, since it is Kabbalas Pnei Shechina, it shouldn't be done in shirt sleeves. It shouldn't be done in a casual manner. One should wear a hat and a jacket when they're Mekabel Pnei Shechina. Meremu Mazutra, who are already elderly, Mikasve, they would lean upon the shoulders of other people, or Mikasve Adadi, if you have that girsa, they would lean upon each other's shoulders, or Mavarche, and they would make the bracha.
Isn't there a halacha that if a person is leaning on something and you would take it away, he would fall? It's considered.
Yes, it is, but that's if a person is not elderly. If a person is elderly, he doesn't have a choice. Amalei Rav Achel or Rav Ashi, b'marava mivarche in the west, in Eretz Yisrael, which is called the west because it was to the west of Bavel, and this is the Babylonian Talmud. So b'marava mivarche, and we welcome in Richard Rosenzweig for our 33rd Zoomer of the evening. B'marava mivarche baruch mechadesh chadashim. They just made blessed is the one who renews the month. So the Gemara says, if this is the blessing, and that's all there is to it, then why isn't this done by women also? Especially since Rosh Chodesh was the Yom Tov that was given to the women. Rosh Chodesh was the Yom Tov that was specially given to the women. So Amalei, Rav Achra, excuse me, Amalei Haine Shedi Don Nami Mavarche. Then even women should make the bracha. Now actually it's brought down because many women would be interested to make Kiddush Levana. After all, there's a big skula in the Kiddush Levana, like we said, there shouldn't be a Misa Mashuna. But it's, I believe, I'm not prepared to say this categorically, but I believe that it's brought down al pi Kabbalah that women do not say Kiddush Levana. But, says the Gemara, Ella, the bracha is much more elaborate. Ella kid Rabbi Yehuda, the Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Baruch, blessed Asher b'mamorai bara shchokim, with his statement he created the heavens, u'beruach piv kol tzivayim, and this with the spirit of his mouth all of its hosts. Choykuz man nosan lahem, he gave them a statute and time. Shelo yeshanu es tafkidim, they don't change their mission. In other words, the Meilah Levana is exact since the beginning of time. The same thing is true with we know Birchas Hachama. We calculate the 28 years of Birchas Hachama to an exact calculation, right? So Shelo Yeshanu es Tafkidam. They rejoice and they're happy to do the will of their Creator. Poalei emes. Now we have the girsa of poyal emes, and it's referring to the Rabbeinu Shalom. Rashi's girsa of poyalei emes is that it's referring to the sun and the moon, that they're workers of truth. But we have the girsa poyal emes, she'pu'ulosai emes, that Hashem's work is truthful. V'la'alevana amar, and he says to the moon, she'tiskadesh ateres, that his crown should be renewed. Tiferes la'amusei vaten, a splendor to those that were supported in the womb. Now this refers to Yidden that learned Torah from the Malach in the womb. Sheheina asidin li'ischadesh kamaisa, they are destined to renew themselves as well. We'll have the Geula, and we will be renewed. Ulefar li'yitzem, and to extol our Creator, Al Shem Kvoid Malchusay, Baruch Atah Hashem, blessed is Hashem, Mechadesh Chadashim, who renews the month. Now, it doesn't say why this is not suitable for women. It says, there must be something else, so why isn't this suitable for women? So it could be because it elaborates on the midah of chaykus man nosan lahem shelo yeshanu es tafkidam, the midah of being regular in the service of Hashem, which does not apply to women, because women, to the contrary, are exempt from mitzvahs asay shazman grama, from mitzvahs that are limited by time. They can't be limited by time. they can't be regular. They have to take care of the baby. They have to take care of the children. And when you have that, you can't be regular. That's why women are exempt from the mitzvah say they are limited by time. You can't tell a woman she has to say Kriya Shema at the Zman when one of her children is vomiting and has fever. You can't tell her that she has to make sure to learn the Daf Yomi when two of her kids, Chas v'Shalom, has the measles. So that she can't have mitzvahs that are limited by time, and therefore she doesn't relate to these servants of Hashem that are like clockwork and are regular. That's not the role of a woman. Says the Gemara, ki b'sachbulos, with strategies, tasa l'cha melchama, you should do battle. Am Rav Ach bar Chanina, Am Rav Asi, Am Rav Yochanan, b'mi ata motzei milchamtoi shel Torah, with who do you find the battle of Torah? Who is good at making cogent arguments and learning and arriving at the halacha? B'mi sheyesh b'yada, here we take the word tachbula to mean chavilos. B'mi sheyesh b'yada chavilos shel Mishnah. He has bundles of the Mishnayos. In other words, you have to first have all the bekiyas, all the raw knowledge in order to make arguments and arrive at the halacha. Kari Rav Yosef Anafshe, Rav Yosef, who was a baki in all of the information, said about himself, V'rav Tvuos, the one who has abundant wheat. The Gemara says that Kol Tzrichen L'morei Chita. Everybody needs the master of the wheat. The wheat is the lechem of the Torah, the information, the Mishnayos. B'koyach shar is in the strength of the shar. Now, this is a play on Rav Yosef, because Yosef HaTzadik was called B'char Shairai Hadalai. So Yosef was called an axe. So Rav Yosef says, by him there is Rav Tvuos, the abundant Mishnayos, and therefore he was able to engage in the Melchamta Shel Torah. Now, Echad Omer B'shtei Shais, one says it was on the second hour, one says it was on the third hour. We accept their testimony. Let's get our reliable witnesses over here. Marshall and Eddie. What a team. What a team. With a team like that,
Best, man, we the best.
with a team like that, Mark would close his business tomorrow. So anyway,
Eddie, what are we swearing about this time?
Eddie's the perfect witness. He testifies. The next day, he's not there anymore. So anyway,
He's the mobile Zoma.
Echad Omer B'shtei Shais, Am Rav Shimon bar Ashi lo yishana ela shais. The only time we'll say that if Marshall says in the second hour and Eddie says in the third hour, we accept it, because in those days they didn't have digital watches, they only had a sundial, so you can make a mistake between the second hour and the third hour. If one says it was before sunrise, and the other one says it's after the sunrise, so the Gemara said, Pshita duh, of course, before sunrise, after sunrise. If Marshall says it was right before sunrise, and Eddie says it was during sunrise, we don't accept that. So the Gemara says, well, Hanami Pshita. Says the Gemara, what happened is that Eddie, who said it was during sunrise, was actually in the glow that comes right before sunrise. But right before sunrise, there's a glow in the horizon. And the reason why he said it was sunrise is because he thought it was sunrise. Really, it was the pre-sunrise glow. Kamash Malan, no, people don't make such a mistake. And afterwards, they bring in the second witness. Says the Gemara, the Mishnah says that if one of the Talmidim has a cogent argument, they bring him up to the platform of the judges, and they don't remove him the entire day. So the Gemara says, Oisa Yom V'Sulai, they only keep him there that day. V'Tanyim Yesh Mamish B'Dvarav, if there is Mamish in his words, Lo Yored Misham La'olam, he's never put down. Now there's different shatim of what this never put down means. What never put down means he's never put down in this case. After the case he's put down, or it means he's never demoted back to the status of a Talmud, of a disciple, but rather he goes into the bullpen as a possible substitute judge. If there's no substance, he's not put down at all, it still remains the whole day, that his being elevated should not be a downfall to him, because then he's going to be shamed to be put down. Amar Abaye tirgama im ein mamish b'dvarav. In other words, even if it turns out that his argument was not cogent, still, once he was elevated to the platform of judges, he remains there the entire day. Then the next day, he sits back in his place by the Talmidim. This way, he doesn't have the embarrassment of being put down. Matzalei Schus, it says that during that day, when they hold over the case till the next day, because they don't convict on the first day, so the judges don't drink wine. Yayin my time aloi, Rav Acha bar Chanina Amar Krav v'leroznin, to the leaders, a sheikha. We don't give strong drink. And says the Gemara, oiskin. So the word roiznin also comes from the word of secret. Ha'oiskin b'rozai shel oilam. Those who occupy themselves with the secret of the world. You know, this means a matter of life and death. Because human beings all hold secrets. They're all repositories of secrets. So these people that are oiskin b'razai shel oilam, they deal with the life and death of the people that have secrets, human beings. Al yishtaku, they shouldn't drink wine. Now, says the Gemara, what happens if the Bezdin is deadlocked and they deliberate? In other words, they added all the judges. It says they deliberate until they get another person to say he's innocent, so they have a majority of people saying innocent, or they get two people that say he's guilty, so they have two majority of guilt. Says what happens if they deliberated and it doesn't budge from stalemate? Amar Rav Acha, well, then Paitrin Isai. Then we release him. V'cheinam Rabbi Yochanan Paitrin Isai. Amalei Rav Papa Labaya, so the lifterei meikara. Why don't we release him right away? Why do we keep on deliberating and keep on deliberating? If there's only one, a majority of one for guilt, then we should just release him. Amalei hachi amar Rabbi Yochanan kedei shelo yatzu mibezdin murvavin. They shouldn't go out of Bezdin as if they're confused, as if they can't come up with a conclusion. As Rashi says, Genaila Bezdin. It's a disgrace to Bezdin, sheyatzu machloikis, ve'ein yoidin ligma esadin, that they don't know how to resolve the matter. Ikid amrei, amalei Papa Labaya, v'lamu li yosifu. Why do we keep on adding judges? Lifterei. Lifterei mi beidina kama. Why don't we just say, listen, we couldn't come to a conclusion, we'll release him. Amalei Rabbi Yosi koi kavase. He says, you should know Rabbi Yosi holds like you. The Tanya Rabbi Yosi, I'm a kashem sheim ma'isifin al bezdin shel shivim ve'echad. Just like we don't add any judges to the bezdin of 71. Kach ein ma'isifin al bezdin shel esim v'shleisha. We don't add. Rather, if we don't have a conviction, let's say it's 22 that say guilty and 21 that say innocent, and we can't convict with a majority of one, then we declare him innocent. Tan Rabbanan. Oimer bedinei mammon is nizdaken hadin. We say by financial matters, let the case grow old. We need to look into it more. Ve'ein oimer bedinei nefashis nizdaken hadin. Let the case grow old. Mine is daken hadin. Ilema kashdina. This is a deep matter, and we need to look into it more. Then if they should say that anywhere, they should say it by a capital crime. Switch it around. That by Dinei Nefashis, they'll say Kashdina, that it's a difficult matter, we have to look into it more. Ravash Yamalaylam Loitepach. Oh my, what does it mean, Nizdaken Adin? Nizdaken is from a lotion of Zaken, is Zekon HaChochma. And it means Chacham Dina, that this was a very clear judgment. Now, we say that only by Dinei Mamonis. By Dinei Nefashis, we won't make an announcement this was handled perfectly. Because we always want to leave the door open that if somebody has an argument for his exoneration, even the last moment, we accept it. The elder of the judges, the senior judge, says that we handled this wisely. That's what the Gadol says. That's why he says it. He makes the pronouncement. Since the verdict comes from the senior judge, it's fitting for the senior judge to say that this was handled very well. If it's that the case is difficult, why do we have the senior one say it? He's like embarrassing himself. Says the Gemara, you know what? It's better for you to embarrass yourself than somebody else. The Gadol he doesn't want anybody else to say it. The Gadol of the court acknowledges, this is a very, very difficult matter. We have to look into this more. It's much better to be embarrassed from yourself than to be embarrassed from others. He's saying that the din is difficult. It's not the same being embarrassed from yourself than being embarrassed from others, and that's why the senior judge says it. He's saying it was well done. Is the senior judge praising himself? You're not supposed to praise yourself. Let other people praise you. It's ugly to praise yourself. Let a stranger praise you, not from your own mouth. You shouldn't be singing your own praises. Says the Gemara, Shani Milsa the Beidina, it's different, the verdict of the court, the Agadol Ramya. It's the job of the senior judge to render the verdict, so therefore it's proper for him to say, and it was a verdict well reached. Kidetnan, Gamru es hadavar, they completed the matter. Hayamachnisin oisan, they brought the litigants in, the witnesses in, and Gadol shebedayan in Aimer, and the elders, the senior judge says, Ish ploini ata zakai, so and so you are innocent. Ish ploini ata chayiv, so and so you are guilty. Hanu lacha yubaytkin, hanu lacha yubaytkin, hadran Allah hayubaytkin. And now we start the new parak, and it is nice to have with us for the new parak 34 Zoomers and a good showing here in the evening tonight here as well. Again, I want to remind everybody here that they are very needed for our second minyan Mariv. First time in its history, second minyan did not have a minyan last night. And we are getting our 35th Zoomer of the evening. 35th Zoomer of the evening is coming in now with getting ready to learn the sixth parak.
Only half a bottle left on the original one.
Wow, you really got to get moving, Marshall. You really got moving.
You can't use him, Faggy, just because he's a drunk.
Yeah, you got to call Aaron Swade. You got to call.
Yeah, but not the bum. Rabbi Weiss, if they couldn't make a verdict and they had to come back the next day, are the Dayanim allowed to discuss it at night?
They not only are they allowed to, they do. They break up into zugais. That's what the Mishnah said. By the way, Barry, you should work on Sandy. Try to get him to join us a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, work on Sandy. Sandy would be a wonderful. I mean, when I was on Facebook, he used to come on all the time.
Yeah, he did.
And by the way, how is Tzvi North feeling?
I spoke to Ruvain last night. I didn't call him myself, but he has issues. Ruvain knows better.
Ruvain Pollack?
Yeah.
What's doing with Tzvi Ruvain?
He had some issues. He had a kidney, some kidney issue, and he had a urinary tract infection. And all that seems to be resolving. And now he has a hernia, hernia surgery.
Oh boy!
Right on top of everything else.
Oh boy!
So yeah, he's been a little schwach, but he's getting there.
Could you do me a favor and send him my very best?
Sure, see him every day. He's my next door neighbor.
Okay, listen, that's not his fault, but yeah. So please.
I think his name is Tzvi Ben Reisel.
Tzvi Ben Reisel, you should have a refuah shalema. What a delicious person! What a delicious person!
Absolutely.
What a delicious person. Anyway, the new parak tells us Nigmar Adin. Oh, by the way, I did mention last night that I believe I mentioned that I had a doctor's appointment today, so I just want to give a report. I went to the doctor, and I had an exam, and Baruch Hashem, we're in a holding pattern. In other words, there's part of my body that still needs to heal, but he's happy with the progress, and he said to me that I should just continue doing what I'm doing, and we'll revisit it with a phone meeting in a month. So tefillas are still very good. Moshe Meir ben Esther Fradel. Nigmar Adin, when he is sentenced, we take him out to stone him. Beis Haskila Yechutz LeBezdin, the Beis Haskila, the place of stoning where they push him off from a high place, was outside of the Bezdin. Shenemar Hoitzeyas HaMakal, we take out the one who committed blasphemy, which is a stonable offense. Echad Omer al Pesach Bezdin, a man stood by the door of the Bezdin, Vasudarin Biyada, he had a turban in his hand. In other words, he was a flagman. V'sus rachik mimenu, and there was a horse with a swift horse with a rider that was at a distance from the flagman, kidei she'ei ra'eyu, that he should see the flagman. Omer echad yesh l'lamed alav schus, if inside the court one of the dayanim says, "Ooh, I thought about an argument for his innocence," halah meinif b'sudarin, the flagman waves his flag, vasus ruts, and the horse runs to catch the execution party, umamidim stops them and brings them back to the court. Va'afilu hu oimer yesh li lelamed al atzmi schus, even if the condemned man himself says, I have an argument on my behalf, Ma'achzim, I say they come back, afilu arba v'chomesh pam, even 4 or 5 times, or b'vad sheyesh mamish b'dvar, if they see that there are substance to his words. Now, the truth of the matter is the place of stoning was outside the 3 camps. Now let me explain to you what the 3 camps was. At the time in the Midbar, the Mishkan was the Machane Shechina. Around that was the Machane Leviah, and then around that, under the Anan, was the Machane Yisrael. Later on in Yerushalayim, so the Machane Shechina was the area of the Azara, temple courtyard. The Machane Leviah was the Har HaBayis, and the Machane Shechina was the old city, until the walls of the old city. So, Ubeis HaSchila Chutz LeBezdin Av V'Sulai was the place of stoning just outside of the Sanhedrin. V'Tanya Beis HaSchila Haya Chutz L'Shalish Machanes. It was outside of the 3 camps. Says the Gemara, in Kiddush, it is as if you said. It is as you said. V'Had Tani Hachi Nafkamina. Di'in Nafik Beidina. V'Yasef Chutz L'Shalish Machanes. If one of the 23 Supreme Courts of 23, remember we said that there were 3 Bezdins in the Beis Hamikdash complex. If one of those Bezdins, not the Sanhedrin, because the Sanhedrin, if it moved from its place, if it was exiled to Usha or to one of the other places that it was exiled to Yavna, that we don't judge Dinei Nefashos anymore. But if one of the smaller courts, the Inafik Beidina, if one of the smaller courts of 23 went out, the Yosef Chutz L'Shalish Machanas, and was dwelling outside of the 3 camps, still Avdina Beis HaSkila Chutz L'Bezdin. Still we make the Beis HaSkila away from the Bezdin. Why? It shouldn't look like a killing Bezdin, like they have their own gallows. That there should be a little interim from when he leaves the court till the place of execution, so that there's time if somebody reconsiders or if new information comes to light.
Was this only by the Beis HaSkila?
No. The only reason we start with the Beis HaSkila is because it's the most severe punishment, or it's the one that's mentioned first in the pasuk. Now, Minani Mili, and again, I want to tell you how delighted I am to have 35 Zoomers here. It's really a great delight, and I don't take anybody for granted. I know Dove, I know you get up early in the morning, so it's not easy for you to come. I know we hear it sometimes in the house when you come in. You come into the shul about 6 o'clock in the morning, right? Yeah. The Gemara says now, where do we know that the execution has to take place outside of the 3 camps? That there can't be an execution in the old city? Right? They want to put up an execution by the Churba Shul. You can't do that. Mo Kushner is joining us for our 36th Zoomer of the evening. Mo, you're the 36th Zoomer. You are 2 times Chai. 2 times Chai, it's 11. So the Gemara says, Minani Mili, how do we know this? The Tan Rabbanan, Hotzei es hamakalel el michutz l'machane, take the one who curses, that's a stoning offense, to the outside of the camp, chutz l'gimel machanes. So it means outside of 3 camps. Atay chutz l'gimel machanes, you say it means outside of 3 camps, so ein ela chutz l'machane achas, maybe it's outside of 1 camp. Nemer kan michutz l'machna, it says over here outside the machna. V'nemer b'porim anisrafim, and it says about the par of the Kohen Gadol and the par Helen Davar Shel Tzibur, which is burnt, that it's chutz l'machna. Malahalan, just like over there by the Parman Israfim, it's chutz l'shalosh machnas. It's outside of the three camps. Afkan chutz l'shalosh machnas. So the Gemara says, well, how do you know it by the Parim? How do you know it by the bull? That's the bull of the Kohen Gadol. If the Kohen Gadol did a sin, or if the Param Davar Shel Tzibur is if Bezdin erroneously paskin something and the Tzibur unwittingly did an Isser Karis. So when they realize their mistake, they bring a par Helen Davar Shel Tzibur. How do we know that they're taken out of three camps? The Tan Rabbanan, v'hoitzi es kol hapar el b'chutz l'machna. We take the entire bull outside of the machna, chutz l'shalish machnas, outside of the three machnas. Atay mechutz l'shalish machnas. You say it's outside of the three machnas. Or eina ela chutz l'machna achas. Maybe it's outside of one camp. It says, besides saying mechutz l'machna by the power of the Kohen Gadol, it says mechutz l'machna by the power Helen Davar Shel Tzibur, and that's superfluous. Shein Talmud Leimer, because it says that the power Helen Davar Shel Tzibur gets the same treatment as the par Kohen Gadol. Shari kvar nema v'saraf oisai, you burn the par Helen Davar Shel Tzibur kasher saraf as a par rishon, like you do the par of the Kohen Gadol. So why does it have to say machna again? Litin loy machna shniya, to tell you a second machna. Ukishuayma el michutz l'machna bedeshin, and when it says and outside the camp by the ash, shein Talmud Leimer, shari kvar nema al shefach hadeshin yisarif, it should be put on the place of the ash, so we already know it's outside of the camp. So why does it say al mechutz l'machna again? Litin lo'machna shlishis, tells you that it's taken out of all three machnas. And once we know it by the par, so we know it by Bezdin, execution, because we learn it out machna from the par. Says the Gemara, but maybe we should learn it out from Shkutei Chutz. There's one of the Isurei Koros is to slaughter a carbon outside of the temple. And by Shkutei Chutz, it's outside, immediately outside of the Machna Shechina. So there it's outside of one Machna. V'leilef mishkutei Chutz, malahalan Chutz l'Machna achas, afkan Chutz l'Machna achas. So now the Gemara says we're going to see is execution more similar to Shkutei Chutz, or is it more similar to Parim HaNisrafim, to the bulls that are burnt? So we're going to say which one is. So the Gemara says, well, we're going to now play the which one is it more similar to. So mistavra miparim hanisrafim habalei l'meilef. It's mistavra, we should learn it out from the bulls. Shekein hoitzi el mechutz l'machna. First of all, it says by them hotze, take it out, and it says by them el mechutz l'machna. So it says. It doesn't say by Shkutei Chutz, Hotze. To the contrary, you're not supposed to take it out. And it doesn't say over there, El Michutz L'Machna. It only says the word Michutz L'Machna, but it doesn't say El Michutz L'Machna. So that's two similarities. Makshir, it's the appropriate thing to do. It's the appropriate thing to take a person out to be executed if he's guilty, and it's the appropriate thing to do to burn the bull in the case of Par Kohen Gadol or Par Helen Davar Shel Tzibur. While it's not the appropriate thing to do to offer Shkutei Chutz. And Umechaper, both the Par of the Kohen Gadol and the Par Helen Davar Shel Tzibur and the execution atones. Shkutei Chutz doesn't atone, it's an Aveira. So therefore, it seems to be that it's more similar, execution is more similar to the par helam davar shel tzibur, the par shel kain gadol, and therefore it's chutz gimel machanas. Says Adarabba, mishchutei chutz havelei l'meilach. Why? First of all, Adam, both shchutei chutz and an execution is a person. The execution, we're executing a person. And the shchutei chutz, the isser is on the person to sacrifice outside of the temple, while Param Nisrafim is burning the bulls. Chote, both are related to sin. Shchutei chutz is a sin, and execution is a sin. Now, what about the Purim? The Purim are also related to sin. So Rashi says that the one who does the Shchutei chutz is a chayte, and the one who's getting executed is a chayte, while the par is not a sinner. It's interesting. So that's the second similarity. The third similarity is the third similarity is bineshama. Both have to do with taking a life, right? The execution is taking a life, and shchutei chutz is taking the life of the animal. Here, the part that's burnt is already dead. And finally, pigel. Now, this is as follows: the case of the case of the Purim and Nisrafim are disqualified through pigel. Pigel is when you have a machshava to shecht it after its time or outside of its place.
To eat it?
Huh?
To eat it,
Huh?
To eat it outside its time and place?
Also to eat it and also to sacrifice it up. Both. To achilas mizbeach and achilas adam. So both the Purim have pigel, but shchutei chutz doesn't have pigel because it's only pigel if you do everything else right, and execution doesn't have pigel. So it's four against four. So how do we know to compare it to the Purim and say it's taken out of the three camps? Says the Gemara, still machshir mimachshir odiflei. It's still the comparison is still stronger, since the execution is doing something proper, and the Purim and Nisrafim is doing something proper, while Shchutei chutz is doing something improper, so it's not analogous. Rav Papa says, I'll tell you a different way we know how it's outside of three camps, because Moshe Rabbeinu would execute the one who committed blasphemy. So Moshe Heicha Ava Yosef, where was Moshe sitting? B'machana Leviyah. V'amalei Rachmana hoitzei ala makal el michutz l'machana. Take him outside of that camp. So that would mean chutz l'machana Leviyah. And then it says, "Vayotziu es hamakal el michutz l'machana." It says again, so that would mean to take him out of chutz l'machana Yisrael. So therefore, that's how we know it's outside of three camps. Says the Gemara, "Hai meboy le'la'asiyah." Don't we need the v'yotziu es hamakal el michutz l'machana just to come to tell me that he fulfilled the mission? Says the Gemara, "Asiyah behed yiksiva." That it says outright. U'bnei Yisrael asu kasher tziva Hashem es Moshe, that Bnei Yisrael did as Hashem instructed Moshe. Okay, we'll stop over here. We're going to do the Mishnah Yomis now, Rabbi.